Hey, good morning, Thomas. How are you this morning?
Jonathan, I'm doing fabulous. I know Memorial Day weekend's here, so it's a
Yep.
little 11 o'clock in the morning, so nothing like a little tequila to start this day off, all right? Plus, since I have to deal with you, I need the tequila, okay? Hey, listen, um, over the last, probably 5 days, I've actually talked to a couple of my friends that have college students. One's graduated, he's just finished his 2 year college, going to, another college. And, I was chatting with these, young men, and I've known them since they're kids. And it's kind of sad because they don't know how to prepare for an interview. So I'd like us to discuss, how do you prepare for an interview, and what should you be doing, especially if you're a college student, before you graduate, and also with the interview process, how you going to impress that person that's going to be interviewing you. So I'd like to get into that. Um, I'm going to throw it at you, because I'm sure we have a little bit of different perspectives on this.
Sure.
So, tell me how you feel, how a young applicant could start preparing for an interview.
Think the first thing I would do, or I have done, is research the company that you're trying to apply for, or you're going to be meeting with, right? So go to their website, go to their social media, go to their LinkedIn, any of their social channels. Go there, see what they're putting out there, what they're doing. I would look at the owner of the company and the hiring person that I may be meeting with. I would try to
Mm-hmm.
see, a background of them. So let's say if they went to a certain university, I may just in my back of my head, I want to know where they went. I could maybe they're, big fans of that university still. They're following the sports teams just to get some kind of relatable information I could try to come up with. Because a lot of the interview process is they want to make sure that you know what you're talking about, but they also want to like you to a point. So if you can relate to them in certain things, I would want to do that. So research the company, what are they doing, and then the job description. Take a look at the job post. What are they looking for? Are they looking for an account, a bookkeeper, a marketing director? Make sure you know all the questions that they may ask you. So honestly, I would probably go into like Chat GPT and just have them push out a list of questions that I may be asked, and just make sure I have a good answer to respond back to it. Be
Sure.
prepared for that,
And
because if they stump you, that may be the end of that conversation.
well, it's interesting. Um, I like people that are talkative when I'm interviewing them. I just don't want them to sit there and they only talk when I speak or ask them something. That I find that very discouraging from, my perspective. Okay. You brought up a lot of good points, especially with the research, and find out about the company, find out about the owner. There's a great tool out there, and believe it or not, it comes from yahoo.com, and it's their finance page. It's probably one of the best out there that's free, where you can find out about a lot of companies, especially if they're publicly held. You can know their market cap value, go in prepared, know who their competitors are, know who their top suppliers are. Study for the interview itself. Also, like Jonathan mentioned, you want to find out who the CEO is, how long they've been there, a little bit of background. And also, when you're on Yahoo Finance, when you're looking up that company, there's also, you click this for news. So see what the latest news is. Is the latest news for the last week, last month, the last 12 months, whatever it is, and then research that news so it makes you a little bit more ahead of the game when you go in for an interview. I like someone who can actually be a little bit more uh, forward in the interview. I like them to take a little bit of control. So it shows me like they have a backbone, okay? But also, since you're a young, especially if you're a young person coming out of college, you have to basically, show your personality. If you have a good sense of humor, always keep it clean. Don't be risque. Okay. I've made those mistakes, believe it or not. My foot has gone in my mouth, not only in my ass a few times because of the comments I make. I still make them. But now I'm in a different position. Now I'm the boss, so I can do that. But anyway, you want to be on top of your game. That's exactly what you want to do. Now, Jonathan, have you had some interviews, like say within the last 12 months, that like really impressed you from a young person?
I mean, I've had a few, right, but I've had a lot more that were not good. Most
Mm,
people, what I'm finding, because we're looking to hire all the time, so any good person that could provide some kind of insight, that's what we're looking for. But what I found is that there are a lot more people out there that will say anything you want to hear. So if I'm looking for a Google certified, rep, they'll
mm,
just tell me they're a Google certified person. Then after the fact, I ask them a simple question. They're stumped. They're like, "Oh, I've never thought of it like that," or they don't have the follow ups because they're lying from the beginning. So I would much rather someone say, "Listen, like I don't really know that. I'm willing to
hmm
learn. I'm willing. You can train me, and at least be honest with me, so I know what I'm getting myself into." But when
hmm
you blatantly go out there and you lie, which I would say a lot of them just casually lie. Like it's not a big deal. Yeah, I've done it. I've worked. I do. We interviewed a person uh like 2 weeks ago it was, and their resume looked great. Great resume, which everyone should have a great resume, but you should have a resume that is true. Don't put fluffy points there that are not true. If you don't have the experience, don't put it, because they will test you. And that's exactly what we did.
Yes.
We asked them a simple question that anyone that knows anything about Google Ads would know. And it was like a basic question, and they didn't know the answer. And we were like,
Mhm.
okay, so we now know that you lied about this. So what else did you lie about? And thank
Yeah,
you, no thanks.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
be honest. Tell them what the truth is. I'm just out of college. I'm new in the industry, new in the business. I
Mhm.
want to learn. I'm eager to learn. I'll learn after hours, after at home, but I want to get into this business because that's what it's going to take. We see that you have motivation, that you're eager to learn, and you want to do better. So, a hiring manager will be more inclined to hire someone like that than someone that is just fluffy and says a bunch of great stuff but can't back it up.
You know, you said something that's very important when I asked you the question. Did you have any like, really interviews that impressed you? And unfortunately, you've had more that have unimpressed you over the last 12 months. So based on what Jonathan's telling you, you know what? If you can present yourself correctly, you know what? You're going to be ahead of the game because there's far and few between people out there that can really impress, the person that's interviewing them. Now, one thing I notice a lot of college students doing, they're just throwing applications out there. I have a friend of mine's kid. His father says, yeah, he's putting in at least 20 applications, a week. He's just doing that. Okay. What else is he doing? Does he have a part-time job? No, I'm giving him the opportunity to, take the next few months to find a job. I'm like, here's the thing. If you're not in the game working part-time somewhere, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you got a 4-year degree. Go get yourself a part-time job. Keep yourself active by you just like, sitting at a computer banging out resumes. And as we've said in the past, the best way to get a job is through networking. That's the best way to get a job. Somebody who, you meet that knows you, that can, push things forward. Uh, this kid has a 4-year degree and he's looking to get into finance. Never did any internships. He only got interested in finance over the last, maybe inside the last 10 months. If you haven't done an internship at like, a finance house, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, how the hell you think you're going to get a finance job? Okay. Everything's networking. I said, you know what? Go get a bank teller job. The kid's in North Carolina. Guess where the second largest place is outside Wall Street in the financial district? Charlotte, North Carolina. You know what? Go there. He wants to go to Boston and New York. He's going to get eaten alive there because I see his personality. I'm from there. I'm from New York City, as you are too. You have to have a certain type of personality. You're just going to get eaten alive. So stay within an area that you know your culture, where you're a little bit more comfortable. Frank Sinatra used to say, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. It's not because we're conceited. There's a reason for it, because in New York City, you're dealing with so many different demographics, so many different nationalities. And if you can be successful amongst those nationalities, especially in sales and stuff like that, of being an influence to these people, it's only going to help you wherever else you go. It's almost going to be like a piece of cake going anywhere else. So, New York City used to be the lion's den, and used to work there. So, especially when I started my career 30 years ago. And, I'm sure you see that as well still, Jonathan, correct?
I mean, listen, we go into new markets but that's because we have the backbone of New York here, and we've done it here, so we can do it anywhere, like you're saying. But you definitely need, like, that's a great point. You definitely need that experience. Get networking with people is great. So if you can be in front of people all day, every day, you'll meet a bunch of people. If you were a bank teller, like you said, how many business people do you think are dropping off, cash or checks? You're gonna meet people. You're gonna talk to people. I
Bingo,
talk I
bingo.
talk to
Yep.
my bank teller all the time, right? I'm dropping off Lyft, dropping off that. What are you doing? How you get to know them on a name to name basis.
Mhm.
So definitely it's a great thing. If you want to be in finance, get anything. Go to a mortgage company. Go to anything to deal with numbers if you want. But you got to be out there. You have to talk to people. You have to get the experience, because that's another thing. We see people, they don't have anything on their resume, right? They're out of college,
Yep.
have a great college you came from, good, but what have you done after, right? And they're like too good for working, low paying jobs or something that may be beneath them. But
Mhm.
do I want to be that person that's giving them the keys to trust them with all these accounts? I don't think so, really. We want
Yeah.
to work with people that want to put the work in, and preferably we want people that have the experience, because we know if they come with experience, even if it's a couple years, they probably made a lot of mistakes in the first few years, and now hopefully they're
Mhm.
learning from that and they're going to be better. So, um, I mean, like me, I grew up, I as a teenager in high school, I was doing construction work, detailing cars, doing all types of stuff. I started my first, business before 18, just doing construction. So, you have the experience. When you go, 21 years old, you're out of school, you have nothing to show. It's tough.
It's sad. You know what? You got to hustle. And, having that bank teller job, listen, even if you get a job as a waiter or waitress at a nice restaurant, you know what? You're meeting high end people. And if you have a nice personality and present yourself in a very nice professional way, trust me, there are business owners out there and, top end managers that take notice of that. You know what? So always be on your game, even at the most simplest job. It might be part time for you because you never know who's looking at you that you might impress, not knowing that you're impressing them, but they like your personality. And you know what? They see something that you don't see in yourself. So they say a piece of clay that they can mold. And I'm like you said, Jonathan, you see that when you went to the bank teller.
It's also, it's more to that too, right? So if you have no job, you're out of college, 6 months, no job, your confidence is probably at an all-time low, right? You don't
Mhm.
know what to do next. How am I doing it? I see a lot of young people with this problem. They're living with their parents. Things are expensive, so I get it, right? But they're not
Sure.
doing anything to better themselves. But if you were making a little coin in your pocket every month, every week, you start building your confidence. I'm at least making some money. I can go out. I can pay for things on my own. Maybe I still have to live with my parents for right now, but I got the confidence that I have something. And then you can tell the hiring person that you're trying to get the job from that, hey, I'm working at, ABC Pizzeria because I'm just trying to, I'm trying my best to find something. This is what I got. And it's at least something, right? Like,
Listen, something's better than nothing. Okay. If you're living off the tit of your parents, that doesn't speak too highly of you. And trust me, when someone's interviewing you and they see that, they're not going to be impressed. But at least if you have a part time job and you're working, they say, okay, this person's willing to do something. All right. Anyway, listen, hopefully this has been great creative knowledge for you. We ask you to hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and spread the news about us. Hopefully we've impressed you today. Have yourself a great day. Take care.